Okay, good afternoon, everybody, on this chilly February 8th regular council meeting of the City of Dauphin. We acknowledge that we're on land that we gather is Treaty 2 land known as First Nations territory, homeland of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, and Métis Nation, and in the spirit of we cooperate. City of Dauphins cooperating with the Truth and Reconciliation recommendations. Moved by Councillor Riel, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that the regular council meeting be amended as follows. 9B, the Northgate Trailhead Agreement. All in favor? Hearing none. No objections. Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved the council accepts the regular agenda as amended. All in favor? Any? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Laughlin. Be it resolved that council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the regular council meeting of January 25th, 2021. Any errors or omissions? Any questions? We'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that all items listed under item 5 consent agenda be approved as follows and form part of these minutes. Outstanding water accounts, $128.49 at 34 Poplar. Previous did not pay final utility bill. Outstanding accounts receivable added to taxes. These are all weed control costs and fines for untidy property. $482.81 at 24 3rd Avenue Southwest. $236.95 at 611 Main Street South. And $520 at 68 cents at 120 Oak, as recommended by the Director of Finance and Tax Clerk and Utility Clerk. Filing items, AMM Parkland Director's Update, January 2021, FCM, the FCM Connect, January 26th and February 2nd. Media, Manitoba Media releases COVID-19 bulletins. Municipal Relations Bulletin feedback on reopening Manitoba. Mountain View Division News Digest, January 25th, 2021. Prairie Mountain Health, Health Plus 2020, February 2021. Growing Manitoba Ag, February 21st. February 2021. Community Futures Parkland newsletter, January 2021. Intermountain Watershed community tree program. If you want little trees, you can certainly apply for some, as recommended by the mayor and the city manager. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor?
I just wanted to make a comment. Some of those trees that are listed there, they're really not. Some of them are actually quite a good size.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, which ones, Patty? Councillor Eiler, do you know?
The ones on the right-hand side of that form.
Okay.
They've got bigger ones, and they're actually getting a tree spade so they can dig them up. So they're quite a fair size. They're not whips.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wondering if we'll take a look. I'll take a look at it.
Yes,
Maybe
I
make
would
it-
encourage that when we were doing the tree. There's a couple that I actually recommended for them to grow because they were really good to put on. They were salt resistant and they're really good to put on the boulevards. So
Yeah.
they've gone and done some of those trees.
Oh, okay. Good. We'll take a look at them.
So
Thank
are
you very
those
much.
trees, are they for organizations or for individuals or both?
Actually, for both, you'll see that there's a cost, a minimal for actually, if you take a look, they're around, the $20. Well, if you were to buy it from a lot of the nurseries or whatever, you'd be paying over 100,
Okay.
80
Yeah.
to 100, I should say, because some of them are less expensive, but anybody can partake in that. That's the whole idea. We want people to grow more trees. It doesn't matter where, just more trees.
That's right. We gotta control this climate. We see too many trees being knocked down. I concur with you, Councillor Eilers. And again, I'm committing 3,000 to the city of Dauphin to plant trees. Maybe we can use those trees. I don't know. We'll take a look at it. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for February 8th, that of the city manager. And city manager Charla, you're all warm and safe in across the mountain.
You bet. I had to keep the fire going all day, that's for sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So it's been a couple weeks since our last meeting, and I did have some training and several meetings in these last 2 weeks. We start off with the COVID-19 update. So we have seen some changes to the provincial rules. However, upon reviewing our city operations, we found that there was nothing new for city operations, so we will be operating as status quo. And however, there has been a travel, I guess a difference in the rules of travel, and anybody entering Manitoba must quarantine for 14 days. So we did ensure that our staff was made aware of that. We are starting to talk about vaccines now, and that's great. We've been talking about a lot of different things, but vaccines seem to be the top of mind for a lot of people. We've heard a lot of information in the news, and it's moderately overwhelming, I have to say, but we continue to sift through that. I did highlight one of the tools, and I think it will be more accurate as time goes on and as the province is receiving more vaccines, but there is a vaccine queue calculator that's up on the provincial website right now, and it helps people to figure out where they are in line. I believe that the current vaccine rollout plan is largely associated with age. So based on my age, there's only 404,948 people in front of me. Something to note that just came through late this afternoon is that I will be participating in a meeting with the Emergency Measures Office of Manitoba, along with, I think, probably, if I remember correctly, about 25 other municipalities. And they want to talk to us about potential vaccine sites in our communities. So I believe that if we remember correctly, there was some super sites that were identified early on, Winnipeg, Brandon, and some select northern regions, but there was not anything for Dauphin. And so I'm happy to say that they're now coming to us to look for a site or see if we have anything that qualifies for all of their criteria. Next thing I talked about was the crime prevention and community well-being seminars. So Councillor Eilers, Councillor Bellemere, Councillor Reel, and I have been partaking in a three-part series with the Canadian Municipal Network for Crime Prevention, CMNCP, and we were specifically attending webinars on the topics of crime prevention and well-being in our communities. part of Council's strategic plan was to discuss crime prevention and well-being and community health and safety in Dauphin, and these webinars were one of the tools that we're using to help learn about it. We were to meet today, the three of us, to figure out the next steps. However, with me not being in the office, we thought that we would push that meeting back to next week. So we're going to take a look at all the information provided to us and then see where we go next. We have been working also on with Dauphin Derailer Cycle Club on an agreement for the Northgate Trails. It was originally scheduled to be on this meeting, but it looks like we might need to look at it a little bit further. But I think that we're extremely close to coming to an agreement that serves both parties well, and that is for the operation of the trailhead. It is very exciting what the derailers have done I always say up, but it is up on the hill, I guess, south of Dauphin, adjacent to our water treatment plant and around that area for attracting people from near and far to come to our area to partake in those cycle trails. And the last item is our new electric vehicle level 3 charger that's at City Hall. So indeed, we did make history on February 1st, and had that electric charger ready for anybody who wanted to charge. We are the first level 3 rapid charge charger north of the Trans-Canada Highway in Manitoba, and this project has been in the making, or in the thought process, for many years. It was something we thought of when the city was partnering with Natural Resources Canada, or NRCan, and Assiniboine Community College, the Parkland campus, with the creation of the Net Zero House. So we want to thank that, I guess, the early thinkers of this project, and we're excited to see it come to fruition. I also want to thank, in addition to NRCan, the provincial government through their Building Sustainable Communities grant, Fusion Credit Union, Dauphin Co-op, and John's Electric for their financial contributions to the project. Also of interest, and I think that every project that we do, there's a learning component. As part of NRCan's press release for the project, it noted that there is a goal, a federal government goal for all new passenger cars sold in Canada to be zero emission by 2040. So not have an internal combustion engine like a gasoline or diesel powered ones that we have today. So with Dauphin's EV3 rapid charger, we are leading the charge to be able to accommodate more electric vehicles in our community. And a special thanks to Justin Tokarczuk, who was a lead on this project to right from the time of tendering to the time of completion. He did a great job, and we all thank him for that work. And that concludes my report.
Any questions of the city manager?
I have one, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Councillor Rail.
Charlotte, can we record how many times that the charger's used so we know what the use of it is?
Yes, we can. There is a report that we can see how much use, how many minutes that vehicles are charged for, and I believe how much power is drawn from it.
Could that be circulated, say once a month or something, to for councillors to see?
Certainly. What I'll do is I'll see what kind of reporting mechanism they have that comes with the program, and then we will report back to council on its usage. Thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Charlotte, can you tell me how long it takes to I know that there's a variety of vehicles, but can you give me an idea of a modern size car, how long it would take to charge?
So what the information says is that it takes an average electric vehicle approximately 45 minutes to get to an 80% charge, or approximately 1 hour to get to 100%. From our discussions with electric vehicle owners in the area, most only charge to 80%, and that is a manufacturer recommendation to prolong the battery life of the vehicle. And then usually people would not come in, kind of roll in on fumes, if you will, like we do for gas stations, because we know where each gas station is. Most electric vehicle owners will plot out a route and ensure that they get to their next charging station before they are not at 0% or nearing 0%. So a battery may only have to be charged 50% or 60% to get it to the charge that they want. So we're really looking at charges in the neighborhood of 30 to 40 minutes on average.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the city manager? Call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Riel. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following corporate report of the ICT manager. And I think most of his report is on the work of the EV charger this time. Is that right, Justin? Are you there yet? Well,
that's correct.
Yeah. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carries. Moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that finance accounts having been examined by council be hereby authorized and approved as follows. Checks 27675 to 27724, 50 of them for $846,100.08. There was a check voided in past range and reissued to Bell Mobility for $13,600, check number 27603 for $13,690.43. The electronic payments, mainly payroll, for five payments of $159,565.28. And some of the big ones was the DRS February payment of $141,124.05, and the to Receiver General the October to December police contract of $503,236. Love and Pearson, the auto insurance renewals, $17,926. OSS, we gave part of the joint RM and Dauphin agreement. We gave them land, and they had to build a building, and they did, and they put a $20,000 down payment, and we refunded it. Source deductions, $39,685.55. And train heating, the work they're doing at the shop, a progress payment of $28,350. Any questions? I'll call the question and motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following engineering staff report for the February 8th, 2021 meeting, regular council meeting, that of the building inspector, and that's for the month of January 2021, and I think it was for repair of a building, I think. So we're starting off all right for 2021. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Yell. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services report, that of the animal control officer, the disposal sheet of December 2020. Any questions of that?
I have 3 questions, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Councillor Yell.
So I guess first question, I don't know, Charlotte, maybe you can help answer, is I see it signed by Chris Secord. So is this somebody different than our animal control officer?
No.
So Chris Secord is our new waste disposal site attendant. Ms. Betty Filipchik was our previous attendant, and she did the signatures before. So this report is a compilation of when the animal control officer goes to the disposal grounds. A city staff member ensures that what he is depositing is recorded in the sheet.
Okay, so that leads me to my second question. So I know we had I think I saw it on our media, a fisher, a trap. Are residents notified if traps are placed in the area or not?
I know that usually the residents in the immediate area, if it's on public land, it would be right adjacent to it and on either side perhaps. If it's on private land, I don't know if the next door neighbors are identified. That's something I would have to look into.
Okay, thank you, because I know several people were concerned about their cats. And then the third question, I think you might have already answered, is so I'm assuming these are not live traps. These are things that he disposes of in the landfill.
So actually, all of his traps that the animal control officer uses are live traps. So they're a box, and if an animal goes into it, the door closes, but it does not kill the animal or physically detain the animal in a leg trap or anything like that. So if a cat did go in it, that it would not be killed through the act of going into the trap.
Okay, so the pigeons, is that count? Is that live and they relocate them, or are they ones that we've killed pigeons?
So, sorry, Councillor Reel. So yes, everything in the animal control disposal are the dead animals that are deposited at the landfill. But just in terms of the trap that you were talking about it and notifying neighbors, all those traps are live traps.
Okay, thank you.
And I guess while I'm here, I will just take note. I think we had a question last month about the capture, so the dogs and the cats. That's just something that we use for accounting purposes to put on one sheet, but those are not animals that go to the not disposed at the landfill. They're just for accounting purposes on the sheet.
Okay, thanks.
Councillor Bellemare. Unmute.
I could hear me just fine. Okay, do we have a bylaw on traps in our community? Because you outlined what our animal control officer can do, but what about other citizens? Because there was a story in Winnipeg where a family pet got trapped in a live trap and ended up, it was not a very good thing for the deer owner to witness. So what's our policy on that in Dauphin?
So we do not have a bylaw that says either that a homeowner can or cannot trap. We usually defer those, either have the animal control officer help if it's an issue, or have them contact the provincial government, conservation, if it is a wild animal issue that perhaps we can't do enough for them.
So has there been any experiences of people using like leg hole traps in Dauphin?
Not to my knowledge for about 10 years. And something that's to note is that anybody who does trapping like that needs a trapper's license. So they need to be able to, I guess, do their trapping safely. And it's extremely poor practice to put a trap beside a walking path where there would be pets and humans.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Councillor Eilers.
I just had a comment. I know that there was problems over on the south side with moles in the garden, and so they did provide landowners with, or gardeners with ways to trap with the moles that were in the thing. But those are underground, and they're not for, you know, pets and stuff that would be involved in that.
Any other comments? Call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Riel, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved, the council accepts as information the minutes and reports of the following: the Dauphin Rec Services regular board meeting of January 27, 2021, and the Dauphin and District Handy Van 2029 statistics. And you can see how valuable the Handy Van services are in this community by the number of by the usage. So it's a real vital service for our people. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Whereas the council passed resolution 2017 at the regular January 13th regular 2020 regular council meeting, designated the tax sale year as 2018, which we would recover 2017 and prior years' tax arrears and costs. And whereas due to delays caused by COVID-19, the 2020 tax sale date for the 2018 tax sale was postponed to March 17th, 2021. Be it resolved, the council affirms as information correspondence dated January 2021 from Francine, the account manager for tax service, advising that the properties eligible for the March 17th, 2021 tax sale have been redeemed, and therefore the tax sale for designated 2018 has been canceled. So that's good. That's money in our bank. Any questions? All the questions, all in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Stickhilo. Be it resolved that council accepts this information correspondence dated January 13th, 2021 from Cheryl Lewis, Administrative Officer for the Manitoba Water Services Board, on behalf of MWSB Manager Travis Parsons regarding their 5-year capital planning process and a request for municipalities to identify water and sewer projects that they'd be considered for construction in the next 2 to 4 years. Further, be it resolved that council accepts as information a memorandum dated February 5th, 2021 from the executive assistant outlining the priority water and wastewater projects determined by the Director of Public Works and Operations and the utility foreman as follows: the lagoon wastewater treatment plant upgrades, the pressure management system upgrade, and the aqueduct renewal. Further, be it resolved that council agrees with the project recommendations outlined by the Director of Public Works and Operations and the utility foreman be forwarded to the Water Services board for their consideration. Any questions of that? Anybody? Councillor Eilers, Councillor Bellemare.
Okay, I'll ask a question. I'm an optimist. I know that we're just putting them on their list. Any idea if we might hear back about responses? I mean, certainly for the lagoon, we've been waiting for a long time, but I just thought in case something had changed and we might have some idea of timelines. No.
Not
So
that I'm
this is
aware of. City manager, do you have any input?
I do. So this is a list that we provide to the Manitoba Water Services Board each year. That's kind of our wish list. Things that we need to do, should do, and we're looking down the road. Two projects that we did get notified of, I guess it was end of 2019 and into 2020, was the lift station upgrade and the UV disinfection upgrade. Those two projects had been on this list for maybe 2 or 3 years, and finally we rose to the top and we got our 50% funding. So we are optimistic that when money is identified, that we will be able to get this. However, there's no set timelines that we should get it within 3 years or anything like that. It's more of a high level list, this one.
All right, thank you.
Basically, the high level is the province said that they submitted their list to the federal government, and the federal government has not received the information. I just have to take a call right now. I'll be on hold.
Okay, I have a question. This is for Charla. My understanding is for this water treatment and lagoon upgrade, I was looking back in my notes, and I believe now it's coming to the 7th, maybe the 8th year. I've got backtrack 7th year. Is there any indication of how they decide? Because this came up because they have put in more what do you call it, regulations, and how do we meet them if they won't provide the funding for us to meet them? So I'm just wondering, is there any indication of when this would be possible, and what can we do to make sure this project goes ahead?
You know what, Councillor Eilers, you hit the nail on the head there. This is the third. So the mayor spoke about the province prioritizing and committing to money and then sending it to the federal. That's the a different grant, and of course it's escaping my mind right now. But it's a bigger project. We always have that as number one for the Manitoba Water Services Board listing as well, because it is our number one project that we want to do. And yes, it has been in the neighborhood of 7 or 8 years that we've applied for this funding. The project is identified to be approximately $13 million, and just we are unable to pay that on our own. So we have applied for federal and provincial funding for the lagoon project. And it is true that we are operating under an old license for a lagoon, and the new one, we have a copy of it, and we cannot meet it without the upgrades to the lagoon. So we have our hands tied by the funding organizations. So what we're saying is, once the funding comes through, we will jump on that and we will commit to our portion of that project financially and get it done so that we can meet the new regulations. But until then, we are at the mercy.
And the AMM representatives had a meeting, and they brought forward this to, of course, the feds and the provincial for the funding, but they didn't itemize it or they didn't prioritize it. My concern is that sometimes when you have these discussions, by the first things you mention, people just assume that that's a priority, and I'm quite concerned that this has been happening, that ours is never one of the first things mentioned.
And I know that we've talked to basically every time we get any minister's ear that has anything to do with the project, that we let them know that the lagoon is number one. So we'll continue to advocate for ourselves.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Riel, seconded by Councillor Juba. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated January 22nd from Dennis Forrest, President of the Dauphin Museum, requesting a 3% increase over 2021. Further be it resolved that Council approves the request from Dennis Forbes for a 2021 first quarter payment in advance of the overall appropriation approval based on 2020 amounts. Further be it resolved that Council forwards this appropriation request to the 2021 budget deliberations. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence received on February 4th, 2021 from Brenda Gregory, President of the Dauphin Derailer Cycle Club, Inc., and providing the DDC's proposed 2021 budget and list of goals for further development and maintenance of the Northgate Trailhead, and requesting a 2021 grant in the amount of $10,000 as either a general contribution to these associated costs or a sponsorship of a specific trailhead project. Further be it resolved that Council forward this grant request to the 2021 budget deliberations. Any questions? Seeing none. All in favor? There's going to be a lot of questions asked. On that one. Moved by Councillor Juba, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information AMM Mayors, Rees, and CAO's meeting April 13th to the 21st, Mayor and City Manager. AMM Spring Convention 14th to the 16th. I assume all these would be by virtual.
That's correct.
Yeah. AMM Annual District Meeting, June 23rd, 2021. Probably that one too. Any questions? Charlotte, I guess there'll be some, as we get closer, councillors will be able to register for the convention and the district meeting.
Yes, that's correct. Lisa will be able to help us coordinate that as well.
Okay, thank you. Councillor privileges. We'll start with Councillor Eilers.
Thank you. On January 25th, of course, City Council, and then I attended various Zoom meetings and info sessions on COVID-19 and various community wellness issues. I want to encourage due to the extreme cold conditions. I want to encourage everyone to take extra care. And I'd also like to thank Justin Tokarczuk for his work on the EV3 project. I also want to offer condolences to Dr. Alan Lysak's family on his passing. This was a true pillar of our community, and his caring and dedication as a surgeon for over 50 years that benefited so many. I worked with him for over 12 years, and he truly cared for all his patients and worked tirelessly to ensure the best outcome for all of them. He also was avidly involved in agriculture, and farmers had a special bond with him. He was instrumental in the growth of the Dauphin Regional Health Center, and we're lucky to have that facility, and he was one of the main reasons that we did. I'd also like to offer condolences to Kimberly Secord's family, Zeke. On his passing, he was a dedicated employee to the Department of Highways until his retirement, and he will be missed. And also, I'd like to offer condolences to David Yakimishin's family on his passing. He's from Gilbert Plains, but he was a dedicated farmer, and he was involved in many agriculture ventures throughout the parkland. And on that, I want everybody to keep warm, keep safe, and wear a mask. And that ends my report.
Councillor Juba. Unmute, Rodney.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. On January the 25th, I attended the regular City Council meeting via Teams. January 29th, I completed the Municipal Relations Council members Code of Conduct course. It took me over an hour to navigate through the information, and it was an hour well worth spent. So I feel good that I got that completed, and it's a requirement for all councillors to have that completed by May. January 26th, I attended Parkland Toastmasters via Zoom, and January 28th, I just want to conclude my remarks by, I want to congratulate the Crisis Prevention Team Task Force for officially taking possession of the Dauphin First United Church. I know that was a big undertaking, and I'm sure they'll share the facility going on a go-forward basis, and that ensures the viability of the church and the task force in our community. So I think that's a great move, and Mr. Mayor, that is my report.
Thank you, Councillor Stikilo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, January 25th, I too was in attendance for the regular council meeting. January 28th, we had a Dauphin neighborhood renewal meeting. At that meeting, we learned that we'd finally received all of the funding for the year. It was a little bit of touch and go for funding for DNRC. And we were happy to note that we'd received all the funding for 2020, 2021 for that and the various projects. So there's still a little bit more work to be done this year, as the fiscal year for DNRC ends at the end of March. So the executive director and community liaison are working hard on that. And in addition to the city manager and Councillor Eilers, I just wanted to make note of the February 1st media release on the level 3 EV3 charger. That's a fantastic addition to the city of Dauphin and to the region. And I too want to thank all of the funding partners that made this possible, as well as city staff that worked on this project, and in particular, Justin Chakarchuk. So thanks for all your hard work on that. It's nice to see a vision and a project that the city's had for a number of years finally come to fruition, and it's in place and ready to go. So it will be interesting to see how many people do use it and how often it is getting utilized. So with that, that ends my report. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Stikilo. Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you. On February the 1st, I attended that final webinar from the Canadian Municipalities for Crime Prevention that City Manager Griffiths mentioned. And on then February 3rd, there was a 1-hour webinar on the same topic. So it gave a summary of what we had done over the 12 hours, but it also had 2 cities speak about their experiences with these plans, and I found that very informative. For community events, when the weather warms up, there will be a Rotary snowshoe race, and it's being run virtual this year, so you can do the race when you want. They've quadrupled their registration so far this year, and you get a special mug for participating. So it seems a lot of people are very motivated to get outside and to get a mug. I wanted to mention too that I've shopped safely at local stores. And it's hard to believe I'm putting that as a community event, but we are in interesting times. So I want to thank all the shop owners who are taking care of us as shoppers. They're ensuring that provisions are in place, that it's a safe experience for us. And also a thank you to community members who are finding positive ways to cope with the current conditions. Remember to take the time to do the things that keep you feeling well. Hang in there, the cold will lift, the vaccines will come, and we will all be able to breathe a huge sigh of relief. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Bellemare. Deputy Mayor Lachlan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On January the 25th, I attended the regular council meeting here at City Hall. A few days later, on the 28th, I went to a virtual meeting with MLA Brad Michaleski and others. That was an information session regarding the COVID-19 vaccine rollout. Really excited to see things moving forward in that area. On February the 1st, we mentioned a number of times throughout the evening here, just again, Dauphin opening up that level 3 EV charger. First one north of Highway 1 in the province. Again, want to say thanks to Justin, all the city staff for getting the job done here, along with Dauphin Co-op, Fusion Credit Union, and John's Electric for being part of the project. This is the future, folks, and it's really cool to see Dauphin being a part of it. The next day, on February the 2nd, I completed the Councillor Code of Conduct. And that was the online training course. Took me about 45 minutes there. It was lots of fun to complete that. And finally, before I go, I do want to remind everyone to, of course, stay warm during these cold times and keep all your pets inside as well. And that does it for my report.
Thank you, Councillor Riel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On January 25th, I attended the regular council meeting here at City Hall. It's been mentioned already, our CMNCP Rural Crime Prevention and Community Wellbeing workshops, very interesting. Look forward to some work being done on that in the future. As well as February 4th, I met with Executive Director for the Dauphin and District Community Foundation to get some board orientation. Looking forward to being on that board. The 27th of January was my first rec board meeting. I just really want to thank the rec department for all that they're doing. The outdoor rink, the curling on the Vermilion River. They certainly are trying with very little staff to make things better for our community and all that they're doing. So I really want to commend them for all of their efforts there. And I too want to send my condolences. I know too many of the people on Sneath Strelchik website that have had losses in the family in this last month. So my condolences to all those people in our community. Just a reminder about community mental health. Be kind to each other. People are going through different things in their lives, and just want to thank the business community for all that they do and for keeping our community safe. Many are happy that they're opening up. There still are a few, our theater as well as the gyms that and hockey and a few things that are not opening up. So just keep that in mind as well. And that ends my report.
Thank you. For myself, attended the January 27th rec board meeting, and on the 27th, 28th, and 29th, we coordinated by Justin Tokarczuk, we had a bunch of photo ops. First for there was a Hyundai, John Nadolny. We charged his Hyundai. He drives in daily from Grandview, and then on Thursday we had Rebecca Van Otterloo. We charged her Tesla. And then on Friday, we had a presentation to both Fusion and John's Electric. And we declared the EV charger fully operational on February 1st. And we had some press coverage from, from the local and also the Brandon Sun. And interesting, the Brandon Sun, a former ACC colleague, gets the Brandon Sun, and he lives in Duncan, BC. And he bought himself an electric vehicle, and he's just ecstatic on how much money he's saving. So that's good. And he plans on coming to Manitoba, like he's originally from around Brandon. And he plans on coming this summer all the way from Duncan, BC. So it'll be interesting. And certainly I opened up my house ready for him. He's been a good colleague of mine. And we'll see if he charges at our city stop. So that's with all the cold weather, everybody's bundling up and keeping warm, staying safe, we are keeping our distance because it's too darn cold to get together. And it's just common sense, and we're going to ride out this COVID, all the code red, and we'll see probably on February 11th, a few more lessening of the restrictions. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be it resolved that the council be recessed at 5:52.